Fine. So, no, the panelists, the macro.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody. Everyone is okay with you. You can put. Oh, the audio is working fine. Uh-huh. There's okay. Sorry, can you hear us on Zoom? If you can hear us, please say something. Could you please say something if you can hear us on Zoom?
I can hear you.
Yeah. All right.
Waiting for connection.
Hmm?
US.
Please say something. We want to test the audio in the room. Just say something, please.
Yeah,
Good
fine.
morning, everybody. All right, thank you. We are good now. We are good now.
Question. Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I sincerely welcome you to this session. It's the first part of our panel with the theme Critics, the Drama of the Post-Osofisan Generation and the Creative Symbiosis in the NLNG Dramaturgy, Continuities and Discontinuities. I'm the chair of this panel. My assistant or co-chair is Dr. Toyin Ogunshina of Lead City University, Ibadan. I'm Adediran K. Ademijubepo. Thank you very much. In coming up with this panel, we looked at the development in Nigerian drama. Once upon a time, there was a Soyinka generation. Maybe you may not find it in any textbook, but later the Osofisan generation entered. But when I was working on my PhD, 1995 to 2005, I came up with the term Post-Osofisan generation. And Osofisan himself is my teacher, my mentor, my supervisor. So I was being supervised by him at the PhD level, and I was attempting to post him. Does it not sound as if a little boy like me was poking my little finger into the eye of a masquerade? The conversation started since 2005. A year before then, the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas, NLNG, started sponsoring, entries in 4 genres of literature for the Nigeria Prize for Literature. We have children's literature, we have prose, we have poetry, and then drama. We were interested in the drama because my did our own PhD on the NLNG drama entries, the entries and the ones that eventually won. I also entered for NLNG Prize twice, but I was longlisted in 2018. So when we came up with this idea, I said, fine, let us look at the symbiosis. It's a symbiotic relationship. We believe that a set of new playwrights emerged in the late 80s from my own study through the now defunct Nigerian University's Theatre Arts Festival, NUTAF. Maybe many of us were not born into that generation of NUTAF when it came up. And then NUTAF gave rise to some people who went to work behind the scene after graduation at NTA to give birth to what we have as Nollywood today. They wrote scripts, they did all manner of things. But our drama has continued to evolve. And we believe that there is now a body of literature that we can term Post-Osofisan generation. I looked at their drama on the stage and on the screen. And today we are here to hear from some of our panelists. We have 4 of them ready for this session. What they are presenting are from what they feel is what they should come up with. But that, for us, is a welcome development. Our focus is actually on the criticism. So we are looking at how, when, where the critics we emerge from for the drama of the Post-Osofisan generation and the NLNG entries. Because we believe NLNG, like I said, is already creating a dramaturgy. We are interested in the critics. The critics we have today from the Soyinka generation or Osofisan generation are still not bold enough to focus their critical searchlight on the drama of the Post-Osofisan generation. That is the crux of the matter. So I want to welcome you again, and I want to welcome you into this invocation. Please pick a piece of this ginger sweet so that to clear your throat, just one piece, in readiness for your contribution. Thank you very much. So Panelists, if we are ready, is Olukemi in now? Okay,
Yes.
Kemi is there?
I
Okay,
am.
I can
Yes,
see
I
you.
am.
Okay, thank you. Esoe or Yvonne? Okay. And Olusegun. And finally, Lillian. You did not go, you not get there?
She got an empty calabash.
No, she got her own invocation earlier on. You did not get. Okay, we'll start. Kemi, you have 15 minutes.
Yes, sir.
To present, speak to your slides, and I believe you already have, you can share your slides with us because we are ready to roll.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so share with us here.
Thank you, sir.
And you can go
on. I need to share my slide. Sorry, I don't know how to go about that. So.
Okay. If you need help, call for help, or you can just.
So can I go on with my presentation?
I'm not a co-host. You should be able to share.
You are a co-host, so you should be able to share. She doesn't know how to go about it. You see?
I don't know how to go about it.
And then on your.
I'm using my phone presently because the network is not favorable here.
Can I tell her how to do it? Can you hear me? Can I tell her how to do it?
Hello?
Should I show you how to do it from
Please, please, I don't mind.
Okay, please.
If it's not going to take our time.
Hello, Kemi. Hold on. While somebody assists you. So we take another person who is ready.
Okay.
Who is able to share the slides, and then we can take there. Yvonne?
Okay.
I want to do that now.
Okay. Share with us, and then we can start with you while we wait for Kemi. We take everyone. We are waiting for you, Yvonne, and
the other should also get their slides ready for share.
Yvonne, we are waiting.
They can just present.
Can I?
Don't waste time.
Yeah.
Yes, you can share it. Let them go.
It's only if going.
Is it?
Okay, I think it's showing how to do it.
Hello, Yvonne. Esoe? Is there anyone ready to speak to the work?
I think Yvonne is trying to do what she. Okay, I think Yvonne has gotten up.
Okay.
Yes. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see you now.
Okay. I'm here to present the paper African Women, Polygamy and Patriarchal Deception in Ahmed The Wives. And with me is Dr. S.A. Emakunu. That's now. First of all, before delving into the paper, I'd like to say that African feminism over time has critiqued both patriarchy and neo-colonialism as they advocate for women's rights and women's identity. Historically, when we look back on how far women have come, we've seen that they were denied their voting rights, they were denied right to education, and practically patriarchy wanted women to be seen and not heard. And although there have been global progress over time, in the African context, there's still the struggle between patriarchy and feminism. And then this paper, we're looking at patriarchal deception. What's patriarchal deception? It is basically the tactic designed to keep women in this invisible bondage, where we say the men are to protect, they are to provide, they are to do everything for women. That infantilizes women. As we are now able to go to school, we are able to be empowered. But at this point, there are still issues in cultures. So the third slide is patriarchy in Africa and Asia. What is patriarchy? It is basically a system where the men dominate, they oppress, they exploit women, and position males as the epitome of authority. And this has affected women in different ways, but we have economic disempowerment. In cases where girls come from poor families, they are sold off into marriages. Till date, we still have, even though we say we are moving forward, we're in 2025, women are given spaces in society to express themselves. We have girls sold into child marriages. We have girls not being educated. In fact, we have certain educated people who would practically say, why are you going to school? Why are you trying to further your education when you're going to end up in the kitchen? All of these are limiting to women. We have career suppression as well, where women are left to choose between focusing on their career or being mothers. They are being judged when they leave the home in search of jobs, in search of furthering their careers. There's also the legal and cultural barriers to patriarchy in Africa, as we all come from different cultures, but in some, women are not allowed to inherit lands. They're not even allowed to own properties. There's also the political exclusion, where we hear women are too emotional to rule, they're too emotional to lead. And this is quite barbaric, I might say, because there are countries where women are leaders. And then in the fourth slide, we have polygamy in Africa. What is polygamy? It is the practice of a man marrying multiple women, and it is a prevalent form of. It is the practice of a man marrying multiple women. Historically, this was allowed. There was no issues about this, as it helped women to feel protected, to feel safe. It helped with economic labor. It helped with just sanctions. But we are no longer in these olden day times where women have to be judged if they are not married. We are not in these olden day times where children were seen as a form of wealth or to establish empires. Now it's up to you if you want to get married. It's up to you if you not want to get married. But all of these issues are still prevalent in Africa. And the implication of polygamy for women is that while they are married to these men, they lose focus in their own lives. And this is where I'll bring in Ahmed play wives. Instead of focusing on their own lives, these women are left to seek for the attention of the man of the house. They're left to experience jealousy, they're left to experience insecurity, and all of these leads to anxiety, they lead to depression, and I think we can as well say that is where women now shift their position from the man. When a man do manage to shift their position from the man, they lean toward their kids. They decide to take the love away from the man and put it on their kids. So this shifted focus leads to disempowerment with women. And in cases where the man does not have enough money to even fund this his polygamous lifestyle, the women are left to bear the burden. They're led to work. At first, polygamy was all about women being protected, being provided for. But at this point where we see, even before being polygamous, the women are made to work. And there's also the issue of inheritance. There we find the man dies, and rather than these women being free, they are not. The inheritance goes to the first son. This is seen in the wives as well. after the death of Chief Olowokere, he put all of his inheritance in the hands of his first son. And it was during the rites being performed at his burial that they realized his first wife, Angela, her first son was not his actual first son. He committed an incestuous relationship with his sister. And then he told his sister that her son, the son they both had died during childbirth. Meanwhile, he had gone out in search of this boy. He has trained this boy. This boy is his lawyer right now. And he willed all of the properties to the son. And in his will, he says the son has to take care of the wife. So even in death, he's still in control of these women. There was only one woman, the second wife, Cecilia, who was able to escape all of this. But during the process of reading the play, we saw that she also, even after leaving Chief and focusing on her own life as a banker, she also had an affair yet again, Chief later on. So this is the polygamy and patriarchal deception in wives. Chief promised to be faithful to Angela at first, his first wife, and then he brings in Cecilia, the second wife. And while Cecilia could not cope, she leaves. And then he brings in a third wife, Toby, and he lets Toby know that, okay, he's no longer going to marry anybody, she's the love of his life and all of that. It was until his death, Toby realized that he had an affair with Cecilia yet again. And then there's also the part where he engages in incest with his sister, which led to the birth of lawyer Akande. There's also the struggle with the wives, Angela and Cecilia, although when they live together, they share the bond, but this bond led to them maltreating Toby, wondering what Chief saw in Toby. And then we have Angela, the first wife, neglecting her own self, and she even praises Cecilia that Cecilia was able to leave the marriage. She did not have that strength, she did not have the courage to act as Cecilia did. Basically, wives are demonized and subjected to rituals after the death of their husband. When Chief's brother came into the picture with priest, they tried to do incantations looking for who had killed the man. In the African society, I think this is actually a problem too, where there's always the case of somebody killed the man. Even if he died out of ill health or an accident, the wives are always blamed, sort of, until until later on when they let them know that, okay, their sacrifices and incantations has revealed that's the reason for the cause of death. In conclusion, basically, polygamy is deeply culturally and religiously entrenched in Africa. And then while people say it helps women, we've really not seeing how it does when it borders on their emotional health, their psychological health, and their economic well-being. And Ahmed Yerima did a very good job in portraying the deceptions that are inherent in these polygamous systems. The play critiques how women respond to the realization of this deception. While Cecilia was the only one able to give from the realization that she had a son with his own sister, the other women made the promise at the end of the play that they will also In conclusion, the play does not only critique polygamy and patriarchy, it exposes how power practically manipulates intimacy and how our cultural roles decide oppression. It shows that it is possible for these women to live. It is possible for women to choose better for themselves and no longer listen to what society has to say. Thank you.
Yvonne, you have saved some money for yourself in time. Thank you. I think we'll take all the presentations and then we'll come and discuss them.
Yes.
Are we good? Okay. Is Kemi good to go now? Hello? Kemi? Okay. Who is ready there?
I am ready, sir.
Who is this? Sorry.
Kemi.
Okay, good. If you are ready, your time starts.
But without the slide, I can't still.
What?
My
No, we're trying to see.
phone is not.
Okay, no, we're trying to see if you can share your slide from here. Okay?
Okay.
Yes. Will you still hold on a bit? Ishagun around?
Okay, then. Thank you.
Olusegun? Allow it. Yes. Take it. This one. OJ. Yes. Allow to talk. Okay, Shagun.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Can you start now? Shagun, are you ready? Hello?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to share my slide, my screen.
Okay. Can you do that quickly? Okay. You started sharing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we can see you. This space is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, my esteemed colleagues. I would like to speak to my paper, and the title of my presentation is Language, Power Dynamics, and Societal Hierarchies in Osofisan's and Post-Osofisan Nigerian drama. So I'm going to be looking at this drama as well as post-Osofisan drama. Now, looking at post-colonial drama in Nigeria, we observe that most of these plays written after the colonial period focused mainly on how language is used to portray resistance. Because after the colonial, the socio-political system in Nigeria completely. We have the elite with policies and different issues that did not really go well with masses. Osofisan's writings and the writings that came after Femi Osofisan also focused on some of these. In the course of the presentation, we examine some of the ways in which language was used. So the focus of this study is to interrogate how language choices both reflect the dynamics of power in the article generally. So basically, we see that English was used as the language of the elite and mainly to express dominance over the peasants or the masses. And then on the other part, the masses make use of language to really to oppose the language of the elite. So if you look at Osofisan's writing, basically we can look at it in two ways: the language and then the recurring themes. When we look at the language of Osofisan's plays, we will see a lot of Yoruba proverbs, idioms, and chants. All these are used to portray certain impressions or what we call identities about the political office holders or the elites. And then we also have the use of the mixing of English, Pidgin languages, and the tone is highly satirical. And then the performative appeals more to the grassroots because the plays are really meant for the grassroots. At the same time, sending certain messages to the political office holders. And then we have the recurring themes as resistance to oppression, we have social injustice, we have class conflict, we have critique of elitism. We have the portrayal of issue as a message.
Hello, Shagun. Muted.
Hello?
Can you unmute yourself?
Okay,
Go
yes,
on. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, sir. So I said the framework chosen for critical discourse analysis. That's the one by Fairclough, 1995. This theory is very looks at issues of power, issues of social hierarchies or social practice, issues of ideology and identity, and all these issues are portrayed through the use of language. So we're going to be looking at all these areas as portrayed in the plays of Osofisan. So for the study, I selected 3 plays by Kemi Osofisan: The Catherine and the Song, Issue and the Vagabond Minstrels, and Once Upon 4 Robbers. And we'll be looking at the language used and how language is used to present power relations, resistance, and identity. So these are the forms. One, we have a very strong relationship between language and power in Nigerian drama. And what this means is in Osofisan's plays, there is a strong use of language to portray the way the elites use power, especially to oppress the masses. So the elites use formal English to establish authority, while the masses use pidgin, vernaculars, and their indigenous language to also fight for their rights, since they cannot measure up to the standard of English. Then in particular, in Femi Osofisan's The Catherine and the Song, we have a strong use of elitist diction and mythological density. Now, the elitist diction is used to really show the status of these people, of the elite, which also shows that they are superior to the masses, that they are expected to lead and guide. Then we also have a strong use of language, especially to alienate the masses and also to dominate them. And then different issues of power structure, also expressed through language. Then in the case of Issue and the Vagabond Minstrel, we also have the use of language, especially the language to appeal the masses. Then Osofisan puts certain words in the mouth of the characters to really showcase his satire. The satire is trying to place on the elites through Yoruba folklore, music, and use of indigenous languages. So in this particular play, language is used as a tool for democratic expression and subversion. And then in the case of Once Upon Four Robbers, here we have the voices of the masses, the voices of the marginalized being presented to the so-called elite, also through the use of language. So in this case, Femi Osofisan puts words in the mouth of criminals. He presents them as social commentators. He also makes use of pidgin, street talk, and the like. Language, the kind of language that the people understand, which the elite or the government don't speak to them. So generally, we will see language is used by Femi Osofisan as a tool of as a tool of resistance, especially on the part of the masses. So the masses will use their own local languages, the language they understand, to reclaim their identity, because the elitist language, which is English, removes their identity from them. So the elitists believe they are superior to them and they feel inferior. So in order to regain their superiority or their existence, they have to use their own language, the language that they understand. So CDA really helps us to really capture the way language is used to express power, identity, and social hierarchy. Now going to post-Osofisan plays or dramaturgy, we notice that many of them are many of them still continue with the themes and the style of language used by Osofisan. We notice that many of them still we see that language of resistance and social commentary in many of these plays. We also see that the use of accessible English, Yoruba idioms, and pidgin try to connect the grassroots. And then we have the recurring themes of inequality, political corruption, and elitist language in those plays as well. And then we have language choices, challenge the authority of standard English and also try to elevate the subaltern identity. And then there is emphasis on oral tradition, satire, and cultural performance strategies. And then, so some of these things still continue, but in some cases, especially in recent times, we have discontinuities. For instance, there is a shift from linear narratives to fragmented non-traditional structures. Because we believe we are in the modern era, we have more technology now, and then the social media is there. So in recent plays, in recent writings, more the use of social media, use of digital slang, and things like that. We have a lot of words, a lot of ICT words, if I can put it that way, have come into many of the plays, which have made play to deviate from the writings of Osofisan, which and by implication has also reduced the weight of the satire. There's a way it waters down the satirical effect of the themes of such plays. So this study has really helped us to understand that CDA, which is a theory in linguistics, can also be applied to literary text to give us understanding of issues that have to do with ideologies and identities. It's also very relevant to literary studies. It will give us more insight into the events that have unfolded after Femi Osofisan's dramaturgy. And then it also produces knowledge on the socio-political aspects of the nation, especially when it comes to writing about such events in the country. And obviously, educators, scholars benefit greatly from it. So to conclude, language in post-Osofisan drama reflects broader socio-political tensions in the country to a great extent. Writers also use language both to critique and reimagine power structures, and then it also reinforces drama as a space for negotiating identity and justice. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, they can hear you.
Okay, Kemi, are you ready? Can you share your slides for us? Okay, we're going to try and share your slide.
Okay. I'm going to share.
Just
Click on the to share button, sort the session so that
I can't even hear them again. Hello? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
can you speak to the
I can
paper?
hear now.
Can you speak to the paper?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
go ahead
you.
and speak to your paper. Okay, go ahead and speak to your paper.
Good afternoon. And all protocol duly observed, please. Let me maintain the already established protocol. I am Oluwakemi Mercy Emmanuel Olunbi from the Department of Theatre Arts, Federal University, Lokoja. And I will be speaking on subverting patriarchy, gender dynamics, and cultural reclamation in Olabode Ojoni's Her Wife is Mad, a bold post-Osofisan play that challenges patriarchal norms through performance. Sorry, can you hear me? Because I cannot hear anybody.
We can hear you. Go ahead, please. You have 15 minutes.
Okay.
You have 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, we give a warning.
Introduction.
We give a warning alone.
Okay, thank you. In the history of African theater and cultural production, women have frequently been either erased or depicted through the reductive archetypes, silent nurturers, peripheral supporters, or tragic figures, confined to domestic spaces. As Florence Stratton, page 39, observes, early African literary works were deeply shaped by patriarchal assumptions that privileged men agency and denied women subjectivity, casting them as symbolic others rather than fully realized characters. This erasure was further entrenched by colonial epistemologies that viewed African societies through a masculinist lens, leading to theatrical traditions where men were both narrators and protagonists of nationhood. During the nationalist and early post-independence periods, dramatists such as Wole Soyinka, Nola Rotimi, among many others, contributed significantly to anti-colonial and cultural discourses. However, Molara Ogundipe Leslie, page 21 to 24, has argued their works often reproduce gender hierarchies by marginalizing women's voices in favor of patriarchal liberation narratives. Women in these plays were often static symbols, mothers of nation, loyal wives, or victims of societal breakdown, rarely given space for ideological self-definition. The emergence of African feminist literary criticism in the 1980s and 1990s challenged these conversions by calling for a decolonized, gender-sensitive rereading of African cultural production. Scholars such as Chikwenye Okonjo Ogunyemi and Obioma Nnaemeka argued for frameworks like womanism and nego-feminism that foregrounded African women's specific realities and strategies of resistance. Within this scholarly climate, a new generation of playwrights began to experiment with dramaturgical structures and themes centering marginalized identities and feminist counter-narratives. This shift gave rise to what Ademiju Lepo termed the Post-Osofisan generation, a cohort of dramatists influenced by, but distinct from Femi Osofisan's radical tradition. These playwrights extend Osofisan's subversive use of satire and performative inversion to explicitly interrogate gender norms, religious hypocrisy, and socio-political injustice. In this dramaturgical landscape, African women are no longer portrayed as victims of appendages to male stories. Instead, they emerge as ideological disruptors and cultural agents, reclaiming the African stage as a site of feminist performance and resistance. Therefore, this research aims to critically examine how Our Wife Has Gone Mad by Olabode employs the satire and performance to subvert entrenched patriarchal ideologies. Specifically, the study evaluates the protagonist's radical choices, employing African feminist theory and postcolonial performance theory to uncover the play ideological texture. It is not just a play, it is a socio-political intervention, and I argue it stages resistance in both its form and content. The theoretical bedrock of this study rests on two axes. First, African feminist theory as articulated by Ogundipe Leslie, Nnaemeka, and Ogunyemi provides an indigenous critique of Western universalism by situating African womanhood in intersectional, communal, and cultural negotiated spaces. Second, postcolonial performance theory, through thinkers like Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Gayatri Spivak, and Homi Bahar, frames performance as a weapon for cultural resistance and decolonial memory. Together, these frameworks enable a nuanced reading of Our Wife Has Gone Mad as a radical act of theatrical and ideological subversion. Methodologically, the study employs qualitative textual analysis, drawing particularly on dialogic scenes and satirical elements within the play. This approach enables us to trace how Ojoniyi not only critique patriarchy, but also reclaims the performative body of African womanhood. And this brings me back to a song popularized by Fuji musician Pasuma. Ọkùnrin lè láya méjì kò sóhun tó burú, ṣùgbọ́n bóbìnrin bá lọ́kọ méjì ó ti di lẹ́gà o. These lyrics, as I said earlier, popularized by Fuji musician Pasuma, is not just entertainment. It is a cultural codification of a double standard that permeates both traditional and contemporary African society. It encapsulates the gendered logic that my study interrogates. This paper explores how this very ideology, one that normalizes male polygamy or vilifies female autonomy, is theatrically reversed and satirically deconstructed in Our Wife Has Gone Mad through the radical figure of Daniela, a woman who marries not one but three men. And unlike Pasuma's cautionary song, Daniela's refuses shame. The play tells the story of Daniela, a wealthy, educated woman who defies social expectations by marrying three men, Alhaji Sule, Elder Akpan, and Ching Chong, without their knowledge. Through this polyandrous arrangement, she parodies and reverses the cultural logic of polygamy, Her action had deeply symbolic, unsettling the patriarchal codes that assigned sexual and financial agency exclusively to men. Daniela, in essence, is not mad. She is strategically destructive. Daniela's radical polyandry is not merely a personal choice, but a performative critique. When the three men discover her secret, their reactions range from disbelief to violent threats. This dramatic irony unveils the hypocrisy of gender expectation, where men are praised for having many wives. Women are labeled immoral for similar behavior. Through Daniela, the play performs a gendered inversion, turning the mirror onto a culture that fears female sexual autonomy. Satire is the play's sharpest tool. Characters like Sister Kate's voice the absurdity of institutional complicity through ironic humor. The matrons representing bureaucratic neutrality ironically shields patriarchy by refusing to interfere. This Brechtian estrangement forces the audience to see familiar institutions with fresh, critical eyes. Daniela's laughter becomes a subversive language, mocking the very system that seeks to shame her. Daniela redefines womanhood. She trains, feeds, and clothes her husbands, flipping the scripts on traditional gender role. The men's breakdown upon learning the truth. Daniela responds not with apology, but with power. I have trained them, housed them, and clothed them. They all ate from the same spoons of my kindness in page 49. This flips the narrative. She becomes the provider, not the dependent. Her household becomes a feminist theater where traditional roles are acted and unacted. She's not the tragic woman of classical African theater, but a strategic matriarch. This mirrors the post-colonial feminist demand for performance spaces where women are not passive victims, but dynamic agents. Our story reclaims the stage for the African woman, not just as seen, but as seer, speaker, and sovereign. In a moment of theological brilliance, Daniela tells Alaji, I did it to rewrite tradition. Her rebellion is not only social but spiritual. She mocks the religious double standard that empower men while confining women. Daniela is not trapped by culture, she rewrites it. Unlike classical tragic heroines, she shapes outcomes when she states, I spend money to influence the church to make him an elder. That's referring to the second husband in page 50. She's not merely confessing, she's claiming a power usually reserved for patriarchal actors, economic, spiritual, and political power. In doing so, she embodies what Gilbert and Tompkins call the post-colonial protagonist of reclamation. Here, gender is performative, and Daniela's body becomes the sacred stage upon which new narratives of liberation are enacted. She performs scripture back to the men, exposing the selective morality of religious patriarchy. Daniela's husband represents multiple cultures, Yoruba, Ibibio, and Chinese, Ching Chong's line. Now, I am just part of an African comedy, reflects the reorientation caused by confronting African womanhood outside. Western assumptions. This cross-cultural marriage structure is not arbitrary. It's positioned Daniela as a transcultural agent,
excuse me, you have 4
resisting
minutes to go.
resisting every manifestation of patriarchal control, whether local or global. In summary, Daniela is not mad, she's intentional. Her character disrupts normative gender roles through both theatrical performance. Ojoni's use of satire is not comedic filler, it is ideological warfare. The African stage, through texts like Our Wife Has Gone Mad, becomes a battlefield for reclaiming womanhood. redefining morality and resisting oppression. This study concludes that Ojoni's play not only continues Osofisan's tradition of radical dramaturgy, but extends it through a deeply feminist and post-colonial lens. It affirms the African theater space as one where women no longer wait for representation, they take it. This work contributes to African performance studies by offering a model resistance that is unapologetically female, indigenous, and transformative. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Kemi, for that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, last but not the least, can we have a Sewe come online?
I'm online.
Okay, your time starts now. You have 15 minutes. Give you warning when it remains 3 minutes.
I still can't share my slide because I'm not a host. I'm not here to share.
You know? Come again? You still can't share your slide?
My slide because because I'm not a co-host. I need to be placed as a co-host to share the slide.
We are doing that now. Just hold on. Go ahead. Okay, share it now. You are a co-host. We are waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm there already.
Okay, can you share now?
It's not supported. It's not supported.
If you had said this earlier, I would have done.
I did. I sent it. I think I was the first person that said.
Just hold on. Just try. You are already a co-host. Is there anybody you need to click?
No, can you try to send a request to share your screen?
Yes, I have a request.
Send a request. Send a request to share your screen.
That's what I'm doing.
So that can be accepted at this end. Have you sent it?
Yes, Zoom will allow all information to be visible. I think I'm trying to do that now.
Or will you just like to speak to your slides, not the full paper? Okay. Check your edge. Eh? Yes. You're using your phone?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's wait for you.
Okay.
Give us on the landscape format. Landscape.
Are we good?
Yeah.
We're good, right?
We're not good. Okay, now we are gooder. Thank you. Your time starts now.
So, I am S. from the Department of Creative Arts at the University, and I'm speaking on decolonizing cultural experiences in contemporary Africa and exposed of Yerima's model. Situating Yerima within the discourse of cultural decolonization stands as a critical imperative in the post-independence era of Africa. extending power beyond the attainment of mere political sovereignty. While political independence marked the formal end of colonial rule, it did not automatically actually dismantle the ingrained cultural, psychological, and economic dependency fostered by decades of colonial dominance. I think that counts about 6 decades, if I'm not mistaken, in Nigeria. This ongoing process of cultural decolonization involves a conscious and sustained effort to reclaim, redefine, and reassert African identities, knowledge.
Hello?
I'm sorry for the. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, my slide got disconnected by a call. Let me.
It's part of it. Continuities and discontinuities. Just keep speaking to your slides.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm doing that now. My slide got disconnected by a call. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
All right, let me. So, cultural colonization, it is, in its essence, translate the mere transfer of political authority from colonial powers to independent African countries who started in 1957 down to 1984. It represents a profound and ongoing process aimed at achieving cultural, psychological, and economic freedom for indigenous populations, ultimately leading to the realization of indigenous sovereignty. This involves a deliberate and critical dismantling of colonial ideologies, practices, absorptions, and institutions that have shaped the cultural landscape of Africa for centuries. Scholars emphasizes that decolonization is not simply a historical event that concluded with the granting of independence, but rather a sustained political and normative ethic and practice of resistance and intentional undoing. It necessitates unlearning and dismantling unjust practices and assumptions inherited from colonial era alongside persistent positive actions to create and build alternative spaces, networks, and ways of knowing that transcend colonial frameworks. A critical dimension of colonial decolonization lies in the psychological realm, the realm of the mind. This involves a this revolves a conscious effort to challenge and disrupt colonial assumptions of superiority that led to the denigration of African cultures, knowledge systems, and identities. It is a process of regaining beliefs in oneself and one's cultural heritage, studying the complexities of inferiority instilled by years of colonial rule and cultural imperialism. Thinkers like Nguyen Tongo have emphasized the profound impact of colonial languages on the mental universe of the colonized, advocating for a shift towards African languages as a means of achieving genuine cultural liberation. This psychological aspect of decolonization aims to foster a reorientation of the African mindset and attitude, promoting originality, self-reliance, and embrace of indigenous reality. While Yerima primarily set Yerima Shimodia primarily set within the post-colonial Yoruba mythological world, its themes and narrative elements can be interpreted through the lens of cultural decolonization, offering subtle yet significant engagement with legacies of colonialism on African culture. The theme of trust and betrayal, central to the place conflict, can be viewed as metaphors for the decisive tactics often employed by colonial powers, as is manipulation of Ogun, foiled by jealousy and self-interest, mirrors the way in which colonial regimes often exploited existing rivalries and sowed discord among African communities to maintain control. This insidious form of manipulation, where trust is betrayed for personal gain, reflects a historical reality where colonial powers strategically undermine social cohesion and indigenous authority restructure. Finding out that he may have lost his hold and power over Yemuja, as he embarked on a journey to regain the control of situation through manipulation of Ogun and his impulsiveness. This scene culminated in Ogun falling for his manipulation, which had the end goal of eliminating both Ogun and Obatala, so he can be left alone with Yemoja, governing her like his own sovereign state, just like the colonialists did. This is akin to the power play of the colonialists, who were able to seize power from African autonomous kingdoms through various degrees of manipulation and internal betrayals. Ogun's vulnerability in the play, stemming from the opening of his calabash of life, can be interpreted in relation to the impact of colonialism on traditional African power structure. The weakening of the once invisible warrior god would symbolize the erosion of traditional authority and the disruption of indigenous system of governance under colonial rule. This vulnerability allies with fragility of power when confronted with external forces and internal betrayals, mirroring the historical experiences of many African kingdoms during the colonial era, where political power was seized by the colonialists with the aid of internal betrayals. The portrayal of power dynamics between the deities in Yemoja also invites post-colonial reading. While the play depicts a hierarchical structure within the Yoruba pantheon, the flaws and vulnerabilities exhibited by even the most powerful gods, such as Ogun's susceptibility to jealousy and Essun's manipulative nature, can be seen as a subtle subversion of idealized notions of power associated with colonial authority. The play suggests that power, whether divine or earthly, is susceptible to human-like frailty, potentially challenging the colonial narrative of inherent superiority. Furthermore, Yemoja eventually asserted her own will by refusing to be treated as a mere object of contention, and this can be interpreted as representation of post-colonial subject of reclaiming agency and resisting external control, which most African countries engage in their struggle for independence. As Ogun and Songo, who Obatala reputed to be his champion for the proposed duel with Ogun, prepared to fight, Yemoja, prompted by Orimila, decided to extricate herself from the whims and control of other gods and chart a new path for herself. She decided to be independent and have her own territory to govern and rule, just like the countries that were colonized in Africa. The character of Yemoja embodies the colonial theme of reclaiming agency. Initially a victim of manipulation and Ogun jealousy, Yemoja ultimately transcends a passive role and makes a decisive choice about her own future. A refusal to be the prize in conflict between male deities signifies a rejection of practical power dynamics and a powerful assertion of female autonomy. This can be seen as a symbolic representation of post-colonial African society, moving beyond the subjugation of colonial rule and actively shaping their own destiny. The Rima's decision to ground the play in Yoruba mythology and feature the Yoruba language in the play in itself a powerful act of cultural assertion. By centering indigenous narratives and linguistic tradition, Jerima challenges the historical dominance of Western culture and languages imposed during colonialism. The inclusion of Yoruba chants.
5 minutes to go.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The inclusion of Yoruba chants, speeches, and proverbs not only enhances the place's cultural authenticity, but also serves as a form of resistance against linguistic imperialism, affirming the value and beauty of African languages. The linguistic grounding contributes to a decolonization aesthetics, prioritizing indigenous forms of expression and knowledge. In conclusion, Jeremiah Siemoja stands as a significant contribution to the ongoing project of cultural decolonization in contemporary Africa. Through his reworking of the Yoruba myth of Yemoja, the play engaged the themes of trust, betrayal, power dynamics, and identity in ways that subtly challenge colonial legacy and assert indigenous cultural narratives. Jeremiah's grounding of the play in Yoruba mythology, his potential use of the Yoruba language, and his nuanced portrayal of the Yoruba deity all contribute to a decolonizing aesthetic that prioritizes African perspectives and forms of expression. Ultimately, Yemoja serves as a valuable literary work that sheds light on the complexities of colonial decolonization in contemporary Africa. By reasserting indigenous narratives, exploring themes of identity and power, and offering new perspectives on traditional Yoruba beliefs, the play contributes to the ongoing process of shaping cultural understanding and identity in post-colonial world. In its recognition within African theater and its engagement with Yoruba cosmology position Yemoja as a significant voice in the continuous endeavor to decolonize cultural experience in Africa.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate it, please. And let's appreciate all the presenters. We're lucky to get 4 of them. Thank you. Please stay online. We're going to engage with you now. Can we have the lights on because we are done with this? I want to say we have been treated to a potpourri of, thoughts from the 4 presenters we have for this first part of our panel. Do we have questions for them? Yes. Number 1, can we indicate? 2, 3, 4. Should we go with this 4 and then we come back? Thank you very much. So when you speak, tell us your name quickly because we really don't have much time. We have about 20-something minutes to go. About roughly 20 minutes. So we're going to manage the time. Tell us your name quickly, go to your question and who in particular you want to address.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me over there?
Are you all with us?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I want to start with the last speaker that spoke on decolonizing cultural experience in contemporary Africa and exposed of Yoruba's Yemoja. Okay. Should I take it? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So, I found it difficult to grasp the central argument of your research. What exactly is let me borrow the word thesis, the thesis statement of your research? The central argument I don't understand. Decolonizing cultural experiences. What aspect of cultural experience are we actually decolonizing? We need to understand the precise angle you're coming from. And again, you said Obatala. It is Obatala. Although I understand the linguistic. Yeah, I understand the linguistic. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, linguistic. Yeah, I understand. And again, one thing I want to pinpoint is you're not speaking to your research. You're only reading the. Not yet. Oh, okay. Another speaker that I want to address is the one that spoke on subverting patriarchy, gender dynamics, and cultural reclamation. Are you there? Can you hear me? Oluwakemi, can you hear me, ma? Can you hear me, ma?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
The character of Daniela. The character of Daniela.
Yes, sir.
Is she a traditional woman or an elite?
She's an elite. She's educated.
Wonderful. She's educated. Okay.
Yes,
Now,
yes, she's
idea
educated.
of polyandry that you spoke about and redefining morality.
Yes, sir.
I need some clarity there.
Yeah.
In the text.
Please, presenters, take notes. Don't respond now. Let's take all the questions.
What's the question again, please?
I just want to ask the question now.
Yes, I can hear you.
I just want to ask the question now.
Yeah.
You spoke on polyandry and redefining
Yes.
morality. I picked those two terms from your discussion. Now, my question is this.
Okay.
In the text, Daniela is able to challenge the normative doctrine as regards a man marrying many wives as he wants. That's the normative narrative we have in Africa.
Yeah.
So Daniela is able to challenge that by marrying 3 husbands, as you've said.
3.
Now,
yes.
So my question is, if we are to situate that into the African context, is it achievable? Now we are contextualizing it now.
Thank you very much. Yeah, she has got it.
I got it. Yes.
Hold
Thank you.
Can we? Yeah, don't respond. Yes. Number 2.
Okay.
My first intervention is on language power dynamics. Please, I think working with more place for verbal and digital, but you should probably reduce it to like 2 places. Then how you situate this play, I mean, this discourse in Post-Osofisan, because your discourse was actually on Osofisan. So I don't know how it is Post-Osofisan.
On the issue of continuities and discontinuities.
Maybe you really need
came in there.
Explain that very well.
Okay.
Then I will go back to decolonizing cultural experiences. Well, you also mentioned the issue of language, and I still don't really fully understand how we will be able to completely decolonize in the colonial language. Even here now, how do we fully decolonize this discourse? Okay, so I think it's also, you could look at how to problematize that and what to say on that, because it remains a very serious issue as we speak. On subverting patriarchy, the only thing I will say there now is that it's the only thing I will say there is that the subject of the place is Bordeaux Journey is not about Bordeaux Journey. That's the okay. Then I will come to historical. Please, I think when we discuss feminism in Africa, we should always not forget to situate this within historical reality, because our experience, especially cultural experience, is different from Western experience. And we just keep importing the Western experience as a result of colonization to discuss feminism in Africa. I think the paper would need to interrogate that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Number 3.
Thank you. I think most of my questions and queries have been addressed, except for Gegede Olusegun. Did you do a comparative study? Because I'm a bit confused. I was expecting you to be looking at Osofisan's works and then other works outside of Osofisan. So please let us know, did you do a comparative study? And then what field are you in? Are you in literature or are you in English language? Let's know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Last question.
Yes, thank you.
For now.
Please, I just briefly want to observe first that we should some of our questions could actually be suggestions to improve the papers of our presenters. The essence of LSA is to help one another to develop ourselves. So we should not make it a criticism that is out to target or try to pull down the paper or anything. We should just make contributions that will improve their paper. If we know that thing, let us tell them. That's the essence. I just want to, I'm talking about Kemi now. Kemi, about your paper, I just want to contribute. There was something I saw, a short clips some time ago. Unfortunately, I didn't keep it because I keep such things. It's on a woman that actually married 3 husbands, an African woman. I can't remember. Nigeria. No, not Nigeria. I don't know whether it's Uganda, whether it's Kenya, So she actually married 3 women.
Yes.
Fortunately, yes. Fortunately, the playwright is here. Maybe he will also tell us. Ordinarily, we will say it's impossible. Maybe he will tell us. Maybe he got his ideas from some of these other cultures. And so I just want Kemi to also look out for that and make research so that you can, substantiate some of the claims and
Add it
also,
up.
yes,
Thank
just
you.
do your work. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Do you have more questions, suggestions for the presenters? Okay.
Online.
1, okay, thank you. 1, 2, okay. There are people online who want to contribute. Now you are physical. You take it. Please, let's be mindful of time. Straight to the point. And you have not told us your. Okay.
11 minutes.
11. Okay, quickly, madam, are you ready?
Okay, Teresa Wampo.
Okay.
My question is for the first presenter, Yvonne.
Okay.
Yvonne, she presented on African women, polygamy and patriarchal system. So I just want to applaud that. Okay, that was a beautiful contribution to knowledge, and I like the way she did that presentation, putting power to all she said. But I just want to add this. I think the white is not enough. She can get more books so that she can make it will be more expanded, not just using a text to drive home those claims on polygamy and patriarchal system. And talking about in Africa, women not having or not bequeathed with property, I think that also should be situated because I know some areas where women enjoy that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next. Yes, I'm Matthew Wade, and I think my comment could actually help the presenters. Like Doctor said, that we should make comments that will improve the papers and make the papers publishable. My own comment, the first goes to the man that presented on Yerima Yemoja. I have done something on this book on Yerima Yemoja, and I could not find pieces of decolonization in that text. So I would suggest that if the presenter could change the title and then expunge the word decolonization, replace it with symbolism in Yerima Yemoja, because I think the writer is only trying to globalize African cultural artifacts and indigenous narrative. So he could look into that. And also the second comment goes to the man that's presented on language power dynamics. We kept emphasizing a particular statement. Post-colonial literature focused on resistance. So I feel it would explain or explicate the concept of that particular resistance. Say colonial resistance, neo-colonial, or what type of resistance. This will help the paper and may not make this statement a bogus one, because we have post-colonial drama plays that do not focus on resistance. If a Tragedy of the Road by Olarotimi is one, Hopes of the Living Dead is another. The gods are not to, even the gods are not to blame. Arigidi and the Night Watchmen by Femi Osofisan himself is a typical example of this. So this, I think, will help. Thank you. And also, he said CDA, critical discourse analysis, is more or less becoming an old school theoretical framework, but we cannot throw it away. So it could use a more recent version of this theory to advance the paper. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another comments, suggestions? Okay. Let me just say that if like all of you have contributed, we have engaged 4 presenters, and as you can see, one of them presented on Osofisan. Yes, that's the one language. But towards the end of his presentation, was able to tie together the continuities and the discontinuities. Don't forget, our aim for this panel is to see why the critics are not taking up place of the playwrights after Osofisan's generation. We are privileged to have one of the playwrights present in our midst that's apart from myself, of the post-Osofisan generation. If he agrees with us, Bode Ojoniyi, try to correct the presenter.
His name, yeah.
His name is Bode Ojoniyi for his texts, but he is actually Olabode Wale Ojoniyi in his jam form. And it's wrote so it's a privilege to have him here. Can we just appreciate him? For us, we have achieved the objective of this panel in part because we have the second part by 3:45 p.m. to continue the conversation. We believe that if Ojoniyi agrees it belongs to the post-Osofisan generation, and we have categorized Ahmed Yerima as a post-Osofisan playwright, because he started coming out from our own thesis. We used age as one of the parameters. We used the publication, date and the production date. For many of us, our productions predated our publication. So that was why we used the 3, parameters to actually classify the playwrights that came after the Osofisan generation. Osofisan generation has so many members, but we identified some bridge playwrights between the Osofisan and the post-Osofisan. And for this presentation, I want to believe we have listened to the efforts of the presenters to connect the, and we are hoping that these presenters will now galvanize the criticism for the post-Osofisan drama and the LNNG, though none of them mentioned LNNG. But let me just say that Yerima happened to be one of the earliest laureates of the Nigeria Prize for Literature. Yeah. His play, Hardgram, won the NLNG Prize for Literature in 2006, just 2 years after the initiative by NLNG. And for him to have featured in, I think about 2 of his plays featured in these presentations, and then one by Bode, who has also won a playwriting award, the Sonta Olubafemi Playwriting Award. I think with this play, the wives, our wives have gone mad. Then I thought he was responding to Olarotimi. I don't know whether the thought is still a thought. We're familiar with Olarotimi. Our wives have gone mad. Our husband. So what we have in the post-Osofisan generation playwright is like a response to some of the works that have gone before, from our senior masquerades. Okay, so for us, we believe that we have continued the conversation, and it cannot end here. By the time we have the second session by 3:45 p.m., and luckily that session has two presenters present here in this room. I have my co-chair and co-organizer who will be presenting, and we also have the other presenter there. His name is Yinka Smart Babalola, Dr. Yinka Smart Babalola, and he effectively agrees without controversy. There is a Post-Osofisan, writer. My panelists, I want to believe you took down notes. Are there questions you want to respond to directly? We have 2 minutes left, so I'll give each of you how many seconds? 30 seconds each. Thank you. Hello, Kemi, any response? Okay.
Can you say it's like the Post-Osofisan aesthetics is a contradiction in
Okay, the Post-Osofisan aesthetics is a contradiction in term, unless we look at it ideologically. Literally, there is no Post-Osofisan because of the critical relevance of his work in the works of his contemporaries, and we are all his contemporaries. Ideologically, however, the response has been wide and wide, from the postmodernist essence through post-colonialism to socio-political cultural response, and this has been touched upon by the speaker. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shola Adeyemi Fatosin. We appreciate you. Kemi, Yvonne, Mise, and Olusegun, any responses from you guys?
Yes, sir.
Who wants to respond? Shegun,
yes.
Let's have it for 20
yes,
seconds.
Sir. Ow. Okay, thank you very much. First, I'm in language. So I'm not in literature, but I wish I could do a study that will take me to literature. So when I was developing this abstract, thank you, sir. So I didn't really get somebody who could really assist me, especially with that concept, Post-Osofisan dramaturgy. So I wanted to bring somebody in literature into it so that we could work together. So eventually I had to use my own knowledge of language. And obviously it's very clear that I approach it from a linguistic point of view. So I've noted all the observations. Because of that, I couldn't determine the text that fall under Post-Osofisan dramaturgy.
Thank you very much.
So
yes,
I have
that's
to focus on.
We continue to work together. Thank you. Ese?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much for the contributions and the suggestions.
Speak up.
I just want to say 2 things. The thesis of this work is situated within the narrative that was pushed by the colonialists and how African narratives now counters them and how we should actually amplify this narrative. Also, in terms of language, a question was asked, how do we do it even in a conference like this? Now, if you vividly listen out to intergovernmental conferences, you see that there are technologies that is being used to translate words to different people that come from different countries. I think that can be inculcated into conferences like this, and also the teaching of our indigenous languages in our schools, and also the reinforcing of his speaking and the continuity should be part of what we should be advocating for, what this paper is also trying to advocate for. I think that's what I can respond to for now. And thank you for all the
Thank you very much. Yvonne, any response?
Thank you. Thank you very much for your question. There is a one for I heard it and I agree with I'll work on it.
And last but not the least, Mercy, Oluwakemi, Emmanuel.
Yes. Olowonubi.
Olowonubi, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
my response on morality and polyandry, how Daniela is able to challenge normative doctrine. I would like to say that the question draws attention to complex interface between theatrical representation and socio-cultural practice, especially in context like Africa, where patriarchal, religious, and customary law often collude to police women's autonomy. Daniela's ability to challenge normative doctrines in Ojoni, our wife has gone mad, is not merely theatrical. It is symbolic, ideological, and pedagogical. And because of time, I don't know if I can still go on.
You cannot go on.
Actually summed this.
You cannot go on.
Okay.
Go on. We'll still be together the other session. Okay?
Okay.
The one in the afternoon, yes.
I hope so.
We can go on there. We continue the conversation there.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The question online.
Question, just put those to presenters.
Okay. So let me appreciate all of you, our panelists, for a job well done. And we continue to discuss and engage even beyond this point. But we are still together as a team, as a panel, for the second part, starting by 3:45 p.m. So go and take lunch now. We are taking the lunch physically here. You take your own virtually. And please let me appreciate all the contributors here, all the participants. We really appreciate you for being part of this panel. We look forward to you being part of us again in the afternoon, 3:45 p.m. belt. We'll be using room B107 for the next year. 107 on the lower floor. Yes.
Please permit me to say something for this one. Now, a lot of people will be asking what and who are these Post-Osofisan, what we mean by the